Amen.
How you guys doing this morning?
Amen. Praise the Lord.
Yeah, just give God some love. I'm a spoken word poet / rapper. I go by the name of RQ Tech. It's an acronym which stands for Righteous Quest That Enters Kingdom. I've been doing it for about 3-4 years now, I think. Just I guess like a brief history. When I first started writing, I first started writing at 12, but I was that rapper where I was like, oh, I'm getting money, I'm doing all this, like, and I was pretty much lying. I was a 12-year-old kid talking about stuff I didn't have, pretty much, because that was what I saw hip-hop to be. That's what I saw on television, and that's what I assumed I had to pretend to be to give off that rapper vibe. So yeah, from there I got saved, and I just transitioned from rapping for the world to rapping for God, and also doing poetry with that too. So. How many pieces did you guys write? 2? Alright. Alright, I'm gonna do this first piece. This first piece is, I'll dedicate this to, I remember one time I was going to Crown Fried Chicken. I live uptown Manhattan, and you know there's a Crown Fried everywhere. I was going to a Crown Fried Chicken, and there was a little kid. He had to have been about 9 or 10 years old. And when he was walking out, he had a gang flag tied on his ankle and like on his back pocket. And it was a red gang flag, and seeing that it really just hurt me to see that, because he had to have been about 9 or 10 years old, being brought into that gang lifestyle. And I remember when I was 9 or 10, it was just cartoons and hanging outside, and how he's getting into that lifestyle. So I dedicate this to that kid. Understand that the past is important. Folks like it's trying to be the greatest ball player, but you never heard of Jordan. More than a warning. Nas once said sleep is the cousin of death, but what would this world call yawning? You see, to my people, understand the struggles we've been through, but we are living in the freedom, but we are ignorant and sinful. God help us all. To praise, many sing, but if you ain't standing for something, then you're falling for anything. We're headed for disaster. Our brains is the slave master. We should be following God. Sometimes we follow a crooked pastor. Choose to be slaves to the flesh. And in case you didn't know, the consequence for sin is called death. But being shackled is easy. Living free is hard. We'd rather be slaves to this world than be slaves to God. They either smoking a herb or selling on the curb, but they can receive the freedom just by reading His word. People scared of the death because I feel what's next. I kind of got a clear picture because I read my text. See, society values are being held off the ground, but instead of healthy, they just focus on slimming down. You see, slavery's now cool. We think that we're winning, and we'll gladly with it change as long as there is diamonds in them. Why did Martin Luther die? Why did Obama win for it? If freedom is knocking, but we don't answer the door. Why did Jesus have to die on the cross? We barely aware of the cause because we still remain in the loss. You see, we're floating away because our mind is just flying. You can call me a tiger, because no, I'm not lying. They got the iPhone, I touch, they look. I gave up to MySpace, now our face is book. We know what we doing, can't say that we're innocent. Slaves to our minds and the shackles is our ignorance. Free because our debt was paid, but for some strange reason we are still choosing to be slaves. The time is now, let us make that change and change our mindsets from being urban slaves. You see, everybody want to be hood and good, come to Christ they should, but they would rather stay in the PJs like Thurgood. My mentality's attacking me, kids are spitting sarcastically. This world needs a wake-up call. We need it drastically. Shooting at your man for spilling his name. Can't stay in out of control like a New York crane. Some of these lanes are still gonna remain in the game. I gave it all up, yo, because it's Christ who I claim. Flags and gang beats to them, yo, I try to plant seeds. And all of them who try to spend their whole life chasing cream. They think they hot like laser beams, I'm seeing through them like screens. My flow is tight like skinny jeans, but I'm not using it to make cream. I was blessed with a gift, I ain't touching the piff. These cats are on the dark side like they're one of the Sith. With the Glock in his fist and the ice in his wrist, they thinking they rich, but homie, this is real. merely a glitch. Say it's twisting their mind like a rewind of time. I'm spitting this rhyme, they say you from the end of the line. We got a short time to be free from the blind, a heart that's kind. One step up for mankind, you see that Christ is my king, so for him I will sing. He shine like bling, I'm married to the Christ like a ring. That means a lifelong commitment, go to him for decisions. Never get no distance, self-fight the resistance. So I put on my cross, old life I toss. I found my boss, and I ain't talking about Rick Ross. Walk, they still swagging, drugs, they still bagging. Mom just still nagging, hope low, so we was sagging. But nowadays, young cats is hyped, and they ready to fight. But when it come to breaking stereotype, they scared to fight. They think they got two options, play ball like Mike, or be like Nas and pick up that one mic. They think these are the only ways to make it out the hood. Some don't even try, they rather sell drugs in the hood. But in God's eyes, yo, that's the opposite of good. Be a lawyer or a doctor if you think that you could. And what I'm saying is truth, don't call it fiction. I'm telling you, without God you may burn like friction. So I hope you pay attention, homie, and please listen. Cause your life's going down and it was God that you missing. It's for you brothers graduating high school, see? Why you rather settle down for that GED? You gotta open up your mind and I can give you the key. But if you're locked down with chains, only God can set you free. But see, we were already freed. We were freed because our debt was paid. But for some strange reason, we are still choosing. We are choosing to be slaves. The time is now, y'all. I pray that we all one day make that change. And that we will change our mindsets from being urban slaves. And pretty much what I usually do is I try to take the word through my spoken word and rap to the places where it's not really seen. Like I'll go to, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Nuyorican Poets Cafe. Yeah. It's like a pretty famous poetry cafe in the city. And you'll see like a lot of characters there, a lot of poets who talk about a lot of crazy things. One guy, I remember, he had a poem talking about God is like a billion Hitlers. It was crazy. Like there's a lot of people are so anti-God there, and you know, it's rough. Like people, when they see me, it's like, oh, he's the preacher man or something like that. Because I go there a lot, so some people may know me like the bartender. I guess he just had a bad experience with church, so he's always, I guess he has a beef with me, but I'll still support him. Like I'll give him $1 for water, or you know, tip him and everything. Like just try to conversate with him, but you know, I hope it works. But this next piece I'm gonna do is dedicated to a friend of mine who I grew up with her, and as we got older we kind of strayed away a bit, and right now she's in the hospital. And you know how when you have a friend who's in the hospital and you can't really do nothing for them but pray, it hurts. Amen. Like you want to do stuff, you want to do so much, but all you can do is pray, and honestly that's all we really need to do. So doctors are saying that it could possibly be fatal, so just please keep your hearts, minds, and prayers out for my friend. Her name is Hip Hop. I want the money, money then the cars, cars then the clothes, I suppose. I just wanna be successful. This thing that we call hip-hop is slowly dying. For you see, most of these rappers I now are always lying. They only talking about killing, sex, money, and drugs. Really? Is that all that we can think of? Is killing, sex, money, and drugs? It's like cats don't want to be nothing more than a thug, with flags hanging out their pockets and their pants below their waist. Listen, man. You know this whole pants sagging trend started up in prison, man. So by sagging your pants, it's like you're saying you put me in the place I need to be, which is jail. And this is not a part of God's plan, so it's like you're already starting to fail. You see, God made hip-hop to be used for his glory. It started out as positivity, but now God and hip-hop are slowly getting farther apart like the opposite of proximity. But in actuality, this is reality. It's like we're putting hip-hop on It's like we're putting hip-hop on a sub-zero flow and causing a fatality. Now a lot of rappers is whack and it should be a crime. It's like most of these cats are just scared to go forward like a receding hairline. People like Soulja Boy, the Franchise Boys, and Lil Wayne are not real artists. You see, they make catchy hooks which most of the time just sound quite retarded. Hip-hop is like a premature baby and needs to grow in God like incubation. Only then, like escalators, we can progress in elevation. So please stop listening to all these pervs like fornication. You see, I'm a Christian rapper who now sees clear. I see me in heaven rapping for God. That is my final destination. So if you still want to listen to this hip-hop controlled by the Dark Knight, I would never start rapping for God until hip-hop has completely given its heart and soul to Christ. That is why I say hip-hop is on a movement to find love, a movement to find peace, a movement to find happiness, a movement to find a savior, a movement to find God. And I'm pretty sure that you could look at me and tell that I am a young brother who failed. I had to escape my way through prison like I was breaking out of jail. You see, I was locked down with screws like a toilet seat, and I was digging myself in the ground like football cleats. And as I met God, it's kind of like I found my peace. I'm rapping God in the street when they put on the beat and being a man of God. It's like I'm at my peak, but I can always go farther. There's so much in my reach. It's like I couldn't walk, like I had two broken feet. But see, Christ make me hot like that subway heat. So just listen and envision that cotton picking decision. We so deficient, wishing and missing the sun that was risen. See, now they hanging like a loose snooze, claiming they shoot. Ain't that a hoot? They just hate shooting like John Wilkes Booth. But if I'm spitting in the booth, some could call it the truth. And you can come ask some questions, I can show you what a proof. See, they want to smoke a lot and have some robberies. Yo, but honestly, these little kids are just too blind to see. But man, I'm just saying, like in Dragon Ball Z, only through the Christ you can get set free. But since they can't see, yo, it's too hard to steer. Their ears is closed and so they just don't want to hear. They gave a lot of pressure, now they pressuring their peers. I'm staying solid with God like I'm down with Metal Gear. But most of these young MCs think they holding the key. But see, most of them is averaging that let the grade D. Gangsters not likely, posers, yeah they might be. Their ego's too much like a new pair of Nikes. They're acting too cocky like the Boondocks Raleigh. They need the stimulus package, they say Barack me. A bunch of fellas who are selling, wanted to go to heaven, got caught at the 7-Eleven robbing and Sean Bellin. Some are dumb like Sarah Palin with seeds like watermelon. So they telling how to try to explore the world. Like Magellan. See, they run around, but they academically failing. It's like they try to be a thug, but inside, some of them are just gay like Ellen. You have to know your past so that you can see your future. Can't enjoy winning if you was never a loser. Have to know your past so that you can see your future. Can't enjoy winning if you was never a loser. You have to know your past so that you can see your future. Because you can never, ever enjoy winning if you was never a loser. Thank you.
Amen.